The new year. How many of you have made resolutions and now you're already rethinking them?
Yeah, hopefully not, but we want everyone to stay on track. So today we are talking about your new year and your new goals and how to keep those going longer than the first week of the year, despite work, family, and just basically life getting in the way. We all know about that.
Life be life and sometimes,
yes,
right?
It does.
Joining us today is Nathan Young, Chief Financial Officer and a life coach with Everyday Wellness in Columbia's Vista area. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you.
You know, it's so important to set your intention, right, for the new year. And as my mother used to say, you got to make sure your actions line up with those intentions. So as we think about resolutions, goals, whatever you want to call them, what is our starting point to set up a successful plan?
Well, yeah, so very wise advice to start with. But when you start looking at your goals, looking at this time of year, the great time to start looking and assessing where you've been and trying to formulate where you want to go. So to start with, you want to look at where am I currently. So if I want to lose weight, gain weight, eat healthy, you always have to start with an assessment of where you are currently. So it gives you a benchmark to better formulate a plan to get to where you want to go.
Well, thank you. I want to start by saying thank you for serving our country. We know that you have some military experience that help you gain that expertise and that knowledge that you can share with our viewers today, including financial literacy. For those who have those financial goals, where do you start so you don't become overwhelmed with meeting your goal to save money this year?
Well, understood. So again, based on what the goal is, if the goal is to save more money, the first thing to have to look at is, do I even have a budget to start with? How much money do I have coming in versus how much do I have going out? Is there anything left over? Starting with, again, that initial assessment, understanding your bank statements, looking at your credit card statements, being honest with yourself as far as how much money do I really spend. Because, you know, sometimes we'll have credit cards and it's not like it's real money because you can make the payments.
Yes.
So it's an overall picture of where you stand financially. And that, again, gives you an assessment of where I am honestly today. That gives you a better idea of where I need to be.
You know, some of the most popular resolutions for this year, and I think we see common themes at the beginning of every year, right? Getting more active, eating more fruits and vegetables, learning a new skill, and as Billy touched on, saving money, right? When you talk about being a life coach, I don't know if everybody has a really good understanding of what a life coach is. I mean, is this just somebody who can just kind of give you that good advice? What else do you bring to the mix to really help people pivot and make a change? Well,
very good question. We get that a lot at Everyday Wellness because you have people call in and say, I don't know if I need a counselor or a coach.
Right.
So that's normally the first question. You know, counseling looks at the person you are today, more of a rearward facing. These are the things that happen, traumas you've experienced, etc., and dealing with those, or coping with them today. The coaching part takes you as you are today, and it tries to move forward. Where are you trying to go? Where are you trying to be? So as a life coach, I don't necessarily, if you're an accountant or a advertising executive, a producer, I don't have to be that type of person, but I have to understand who you are. And that's where the coaching comes in. I understand who you are, what you need, where you're trying to go, your hang-ups, past failures, and all these things, and that helps me help you move forward in a better, more systematic way. So coaching really is a partnership with you to move forward.
Nathan, what is your take, and I've been seeing this more and more, where people want to set mini goals throughout the year instead of at the beginning, you know, overwhelming themselves with I have to get this done, but maybe setting a new goal for each month. What is your take on that?
So I like the small steps part of that. So there's nothing wrong with dreaming big and giving yourself small steps to get there along the way. Benchmarks, or that way you can track your progress. So the mini goals that people are setting, small goals, sometimes you don't necessarily have an overall goal in mind. You're just changing and doing things as they see fit. Well, I didn't do the thing I was supposed to do this month, so next month I just make a new one. So it kind of, you don't really get a good direction of where you want to go, setting small goals that change often. You want to dream big, have a goal, and then put in incremental steps along the way to get there. That's the way I see it.
You know, and I have a two-part question, because you said something really interesting in our preparation for the interview, that our past failures are vital parts of our future success. That having that perspective check is so important. And I think in this world of social media, everybody is so preoccupied with putting up a front of, you know, perfection and living this kind of life and that kind of life. But failures are where we really learn a lot of lessons, and we learn a lot about who we are.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of gold to be mined there to look at it that way. So your past failures, if you really dissect them and if you really pay attention to them, you can look into not necessarily looking at it from the perspective of I failed, but why did that particular thing fail? Did I not have enough resources? Did I not spend enough time researching what I needed? Did I not reach out for help? So trying to look at why the thing failed or why you failed to reach the goal, now that gives you more tools going forward of things to put in place the next time. Because we all know things happen. You know, we look at the weather, you don't necessarily dress prepared for it one day, you get an umbrella tomorrow, right? If you're traveling and you run into detours, the next time you give yourself another 10 or 15 minutes more. So you're systematically putting things into your daily life all the time to help you get around the roadblocks. And goals are no different. You look at what things have blocked you before, and now you try to plan for those things going forward so they don't block you again.
I love that.
Very informative, very eye-opening, and I know this is transformative information for our viewers at home. I want to pull the information so that people can stay in touch with Nathan Young, certified life coach with Everyday Wellness right here in Columbia. So there you go on the screen. You can call 803-888-6714, and when they call that number, can they schedule one-on-ones with you? How does
yes,
that work?
they can. They'll call and speak to our receptionist, and they will say, hey, I need to look at counseling, coaching, what have you. And so the receptionist will look at the schedule and get you in for a consult, and we can go from there.
Listen, I hope you've heard something today that inspires you to pursue those goals. Accountability is a key factor, and it's always good to have a partnership and a buddy system to hold you accountable and encourage you along the way. Help you. Thank you so much for helping us to get 2024 off to a great start.
Yes, thank you again for having me. Everyone can accomplish their goals. Sometimes they just need a little help.
A little help.
All righty, and this is my help right here, everybody. This is my buddy that holds me accountable. We're going to take a quick break. Much more on your news at 5:30 after this.
Sisters and mamas stick together.